Hi, I'm Loren and my company is Intentional Acting. And I want to talk today a little bit about how to take a redirect from casting or maybe from a director on set. What do you do if they say something like, I want you to be more manipulative, I want you to be strong, or I want you to be a ditz, something that's a result oriented direction. Because your job as an actor is to give them that result. But often what happens is when you're in the process of interpreting what they just said and you give them that result, then it doesn't satisfy them. And most of the reason why it doesn't satisfy them is because it's not full. It's not full of life. So let me give you an example. I was just working in class with a student he said, well, I think I wanted to be more manipulative. And I'm like, great. So how do you do that? So let me just take you back and remind you that acting is about doing. It's about behaving. It's not about being something. It's about behaving or doing, to act. Look it up in the dictionary. To act is to do or to take action. So when we are behaving or we're doing something, that's when we're being something. Okay. So for example, his character, he said he thought he should be more manipulative. Okay. That's a hard word to say. Be more manipulative. I'm like, great. So how do you do that? Like, what would you do if you want to be more manipulative? And in this case, he's an investigative reporter and he's trying to get this person in a restaurant to say that their food's really bad, to just admit to it that the food is really bad. And so I said, well, how would you be more manipulative? And one of the lines is the restaurateur says, is this fair and unbiased reporting? And then the reporter says, yes, absolutely. But then dives in with some really tough questions. And kind of mean, honestly. That's where the humor is. But anyway, I said, well, how would you be more manipulative in this situation? And he said, or what would you do? Not be, but what would you do to be more manipulative? And he said, well, I guess I'd try to get her to, I'd lie to her to get her to say that that my food is really great. Or I would kind of sneak a question in that she's not expecting. So that would be manipulative. And I'm like, okay, and that's how you would do it, right? So the direction was to be more manipulative. Then he had to put it through a process. And that's your job as an actor, is to put it through a process that you can connect to that. And so the process is, okay, what would I do? I would want to either lie to this person and say, oh, no, that's not true. Or I would want to I want to sneak some information in or sneak a question in or be sneaky, right? Get them to trip them up, to surprise them. So if I want to be sneaky, see, I'm using be again, then I got to think about what I'm going to do. If I'm being sneaky, I want to trip somebody up by saying one thing and knowing that they expect something up, and that trips them up. Okay, so I want to be sneaky. So what do? I want to be manipulative. So what do I need? What do I need them to do or say? It goes back to intention. And so that's how he would be manipulative. And that's how then the person who gave him that direction, the casting director, would say, oh, that's being manipulative, because what he did in the scene was to try to trip the other character up. That's an intention, or an objective, if you prefer that word. And he lied to her. Another intention, I'm going to lie, get her to believe when I say blah, 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 that I'm telling the truth. Get her to believe that I'm telling the truth. Okay, so let's use those other examples. What if you got the note to be ditzy? Be a ditzy blonde. It's just a great example. I know it's sort of an old stereotype, but it's just a great example. So if I want to be ditzy, what would I do to be ditzy? Why would I'd kind of so somebody said, Loren, I want you to be ditzy. I would think about, well, what do I want the other person to do? I want the other person to think that I'm funny or light and silly, and then everything's really light and kind of not important, and even though you're saying something like really smart, I'm like, oh yeah, that's great, that's really funny, and I get that, and no matter what the other person says, even if I completely understand, I'd be like, oh, that's fun. Oh, I get it. Oh yeah. It's a real yes and character, right? Yeah. And yes. And yes. And so that quality is going to be ditzy as the result to somebody else. And then I talked about to be strong. Well, be strong. Like, I want you to be stronger. Okay, stronger how? Like, what am I doing? Okay, so if you want me to be something, well, then what am I doing? So if I'm going to be strong, I could be physically strong, like, lift something up and be physically strong. But also, if I'm going to be stronger, I might have to hold on to my opinion. Like, being stronger would be that I want to be, that my intention, that what I need and what I'm saying is really important. And I'm going to stick to that and be strong with what I believe and with what I want. So if I actually got that direction, I want you to be stronger, I would say, well, how do you want me to be stronger? What specifically, what is it that you want to be strong? If out of context, that's not making sense. It might probably in the sentence make sense. If I said be stronger, I'm like, okay, I understand what you're saying. But if it's out of context, then get clearer, ask more specifically. And when you ask for something to be more specific, it really helps the person who's giving you that direction to tell you exactly what they want. Okay, so the takeaway from this, when somebody's giving you a result-oriented direction, which would be to be somebody or to be something or to be, then you're going to turn it into doing. Okay, so if they want me to be manipulative, well, what would I do to be manipulative? They want me to be a ditz. What would I do to be ditzy? What would that look like? What would I be doing? And what am I? And somebody wants me to be strong. Well, what am I doing to be strong? Is it physically? Is it mentally? Is it emotionally? What is the qualifier so I know what to do? Because actors, you are doers. You take action, you do things. It's about your behavior. So make sure that when somebody tells you to be something, that you interpret it and process it through acting, which is doing. I hope that helps you today. If you have any questions, I know this is kind of a complicated idea a little bit. So if it feels complicated, you have some questions, please comment below and I will check back. And good luck.